All right, so I'm Scotty from the ZXL Morning Show with JoJo and Scotty and this beautiful company, iHeart. And with me, I have the Atlanta County Prosecutor William Reynolds, Esquire. I like that Esquire is at the end. I never understood what the Esquire means when you're a lawyer.
Simply a designation. Some people use attorney at law, some people use Esquire, but it's simply not a.
It's very fancy.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, and it's a designation so people know that you are.
Gotcha. Well, I'm a lonely disc jockey, so that's what I put after my name. But take people behind the curtain a little bit. You and me, you've come in, you cut commercials talking about different things throughout the county. Especially when it comes to the holiday season and just be careful, drinking and driving and all that thing. Don't do it. And then me and you get chit chat and we talk, and I thought, hey, let's kind of do it more long form because I really am interested in things that are going on in Atlantic County and some of the conversations we had off the air. So today, what did you want to get into? Because I know there's a couple things that I want to toss at you that we've talked about off air. But I'll let you throw out some stuff that you want to talk about and the success that you had.
Awesome. Thanks, Scotty. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. First and foremost, one of the things that's really near and dear to my heart is protecting people in the community who can't protect themselves.
Sure.
We do a lot of outreach events for children in school. We primarily focus on middle school, really that 6th through 9th grade.
Which is so important.
Bleed a little bit in the 10th grade.
Yeah.
Depending on the school and the district, but we've been in every school. I personally go to most of them, do them myself to teach them the pitfalls of what's out there, social media, internet safety, predators, scams, and then we've really parlayed that into elder fraud as well. We partner with the FBI, and
and that is
scams.
A real thing. And if I can real quick give you a story, my mom, it was about 4 or 5 years ago, late 70s, and she had a scammer call her as my son that he was in a car accident. And the only reason she caught it was he called her by the wrong name. Like he said, grandma. He's never called her grandma in a day in his life. Right. And so she was smart enough and with it enough to catch it and call me. And I called it back and it was like a number in Illinois.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's like, you need to bring me some money so I can get my car out of an impound lot or something like that. I was like, wow, it goes that deep.
So I'll give you an example that's amazing. And this is talking about somebody who you would never think would be scammed. So I had a retired judge call me recently, just happened. So you know how everybody has to get real ID?
Yep.
Okay. So the judge needed real ID. Retired judge needed real ID. He was going to travel and he needed to move up his appointment. And he was Googling how to get a faster appointment, real ID. Got scammed and paid $15 to get an advance appointment. And then actually called, MVC now.
Yeah.
And was told, we don't do that. And he paid $15 to a fake third-party organization. This is a retired judge.
If you Google the DMV or MVC now, there is a site that comes up before it.
Yes.
And you can go and put all your and it looks exactly the same. And if I didn't I'm with it enough that I kind of knew it, but if you didn't know that and you weren't, tech savvy, you're gonna sign up for that and you're gonna be like the guy, the judge. It's
absolutely
crazy.
So
and you guys, the fact how you keep on top of all that, I don't know, man.
It's very difficult, but I'll tell you, people reporting it is the most important part because once we're made aware, then we can investigate.
Yeah.
So looking at both sides, right? Our youth who are being preyed upon, and then our seniors who are being preyed upon. Youth are being preyed upon both financially, emotionally, and sexually, and the elder are being preyed upon in a lot of catfish where a fraudster may imitate a younger, very good looking woman and abscond money from an older gentleman who's sitting at home alone, a widower. I can tell you we had one particular case here in a Jersey Shore town where they absconded over $5 million from an elderly retired gentleman.
Breaks your heart, man. Yes. That guy worked his entire life for that.
Yes.
and someone can scam them out of that.
Let me give you a good success story too in this realm. We were not able to charge in this particular case, but partner up with the FBI because one of our detectives, Kim McCulligan, got an award for this. We caught it early enough that we reversed the transfer of over $800,000 was the gentleman's life
So
savings.
you caught it.
We caught it and got his money back for him.
Nice. Because that was my next question. Can you ever get that money back?
At times, rarely, but at times. That was an extreme success. Obviously, nobody got charged, but we got his money back. And she got a combination, and the FBI came to our office, and we did like kind of an award ceremony for her and the detective who took the walk-in. So it was the walk-in off the street into the prosecutor's office. Within 24 hours, we saved the guy's entire life savings.
Nice.
Talk about doing God's work.
Right? Yeah. Now, I know me and you have had long discussions about things that I feel like they've just popped up in the last couple of years, and that's e-bikes, e-scooters. You know, I know Atlantic County, me and you have talked about, had a lot of incidents when it comes to crosswalks and people, you know, fatalities, which is sad. What's the law? I think that's what most people are confused by. Is there a law when it comes to these e-bikes? Because they can go, I mean, like I'm watching people actually in lanes of highways.
So one of the things that transpired during this past governor's administration was a push for, you know, green vehicles,
Sure.
right? To use electric, not use gas, and really to make vehicles that move affordable for people who couldn't otherwise drive a car or pay insurance. So that's where it really started, allowing these things to travel at a speed and in a lane, right? That was the intent and spirit behind it.
Because am I wrong? But growing up, me and you were somewhat the same.
We had this conversation. I can't. Yeah, go ahead. I can't wait to hear it.
Growing up, like if you had a moped, right? Like you weren't allowed to have that on the street.
Registered, insured, helmet. Yes, absolutely.
But I feel like these things go faster than a moped.
A lot faster.
Yeah.
You know, in particular, and I'll give you, you know, what's happened now is there's been an influx of legislation to try to address these things. Different counties, different municipalities have enacted ordinances to try to prevent it, but there's a statewide push to limit based on speed and the ability to travel. And there's an influx of legislation to try to curtail that, to make it so that it's uniform throughout the state. You know, we had what I say, and then this is the thing that really, you know, I can say as a parent of teenagers and a father and a public servant, what really bothers me is that a lot of times it takes a tragedy for people to move. And we had the tragedy in Summers Point. And the tragedy was the young boy just got the e-bike, had it for maybe a week, maybe two, and it turned into a fatality, an intersectional collision.
So I'm sure you need some training when it comes to riding those things.
Education, because rules of the road, right? Because, you know, I can say this about my sons is they are now driving on a permit. They're 16 years old, and they just don't have the reps to recognize, you know, in a stressful situation where somebody's making a split-second decision, they just don't have the mental acuity because of not having the reps.
Sure.
And I'm sitting in the back seat. They're twins. I let them sit in the front. I sit in the back seat, watch the whole thing. I'm like, yo, man, right? You know, but
we've all been there,
no doubt. But they have a car protecting them.
Yeah,
right? You're talking about kids on a bike. So, Scotty, I'm going to tell you, I never allowed my sons to have an e-bike, an e-scooter.
Yeah.
I never allowed any of it because of being in this position. I saw so many bad things. I'm like, you guys are not doing that.
A question: if someone has a DUI, you lose your license, are you allowed to then ride an e-bike?
Yes.
Or an e-scooter?
Yes. No license required.
So, okay. Because I'll be honest, I don't see many kids on them. I see adults on them. And especially here, West Atlantic City, where our studio is, I see it up and down, you know?
So I'm going to tell you, depending on where you live is depending on who's the e-bike, right? So if you're in a mainland bedroom community like Northfield or Linwood, there's a lot of kids on the bike path with it, right? If you're in a shore town like Ocean City or Wildwood, Brigantine, there's kids. You're in Absecon, Pleasantville, West Atlantic City, there's adults, right? So it really depends on the community that you're in, because that's where we're seeing, you know, we see the accidents, who the victims are, who the riders are. So it really depends on the community. But what really bothers me the most is that convenience is being preferred over safety a lot of time.
Okay.
Right? The convenience of the use of those vehicles that are going at a speed that's unsafe for conditions
Sure.
or unsafe for the person driving.
Is there any, you have to wear a helmet on those
So
things?
so that's part of the legislation is mandatory helmets, and they're supposed to be wearing them. And
You never see them.
correct.
Okay. Before we get into, I want to ask you some of the great things that you're doing, but another thing, shore towns is another thing that just popped up the last couple of years. Golf carts. We've had tragedies. Cape May County had one in Wildwood. How did that happen? All of a sudden, now you go to these towns and there's just golf carts, and I feel like I'm watching little kids drive them.
So I couldn't agree with you more too. So my sons play ice hockey and lacrosse, and a lot of the people that we play with have shore homes, and they're talking about buying golf carts and all. And I highly discourage it because again, there's no protection, right?
Yeah.
Especially that bench seat on the back. And what I think it is that because of the shore towns are so busy traffic wise, for people that are affluent and have the money and have the ability to pay for it, it's a means to transport themselves, their children, and to look cool, to be honest with you.
Was that always allowed and it just never happened? Because I feel like, once again, that just popped up, maybe COVID. Like it popped up during COVID.
It did.
That people were just all of a sudden, growing up, I never saw a golf cart on the road.
Ever.
You saw a golf cart at a golf course.
Yeah, ever. I think it's exactly what you said. It never happened before. It was a blind spot that was exposed during COVID.
Yeah.
People started doing it. And then, it becomes a government decision to allow them to be registered, right? And the government made a decision, state of New Jersey made a decision to allow those golf carts to be registered. And
so you do need to register and have it insured?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So they become registered, and then, it goes from there. But what's really disconcerting for me, and it goes back to the same thing with e-bikes, it's a matter of convenience, right? And to some extent, people looking cool, right? Because you see them, you see them in Margate, right?
It's an affluent thing, yeah.
No doubt. And we're sacrificing safety, right? So when you say you see kids driving golf carts, I see the same thing. And I'm sitting in my truck and I look over and I was like, I would never allow my child to drive or be a passenger in one of them, because if they get hit by somebody else, they don't even do anything wrong. It could be the negligence of someone else.
Yep.
What's protecting them?
Nothing.
They're getting ejected.
Yeah.
I'm not risking my children's lives.
Yeah.
I want to tell you, a couple of years ago, I had a neighbor right down the street from me who it was the first e-bike I ever saw. And it was awesome. It was fast, and the big fat tires. It was awesome. I drove it once. And I was like, man, I'd really want to do that. I'd really like to do that. That'd be awesome. I could take it from, Absecon over to Ocean City. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, oh, I'm not driving that. Like, I'm going to get killed.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it. I didn't buy it. Right. But it took the experience of being in this office and seeing horrific tragedies to then have the knowledge to make that decision and process the information, going, as cool as that would be, as fun as that would be to wake up at 6 o'clock on a Saturday morning, take the bike from Absecon to Ocean City and spend the whole day and come back. Awesome. But you're taking your life in your own.
For sure. All right, let's talk about this. You've been doing this since 2022?
June of 22.
Give me some of the best things that have happened since you've been prosecuting.
So you're gonna laugh because it's not necessarily criminal investigation or prosecution. I was involved early on with Councilman Shabazz from Atlantic City on a clean and safe meeting that happened every Friday morning, and through our efforts with Scott Cronick actually as well, and several other members of the community, we were able to convince the governor's office to give us about $8 million that was allocated through CRETA. And at the time was Sean Patwell, now Eric Scheffler. And we used Calvi Electric and Atlantic City Electric, and we got $8 million worth of streetlights installed and repaired in Atlantic City.
Nice.
In the year of 2023. And Councilman Shabazz was integral. I had declared a public safety state of emergency. And I used, and this is where it feeds into why I was able to articulate it the best. So we had a homicide that happened on Pacific Avenue right across from the Hard Rock. right outside a convenience store. And because all the lights were on outside of that convenience store, we were able to identify the driver of the van and the shooter by facial recognition within 6 minutes. I was there. We have a forensic van. Within 6 minutes of the video being uploaded, facial recognition, boom, we had DOC pictures, social media pictures, and we knew who the shooter and who the driver was. Okay.
What do you have coming up that you're excited about? I know you're very big on traffic safety. We talked about that, the e-bikes. You're really trying to pedestrian issues. What is in store for 2026?
So one of the things that we've really focused on is public health is public safety, right? And by sending all these messages to the community through PSAs, which we've done, in addition to doing the community outreach in the schools, the thing that we're really focused on is prevention, right? So it's prevention of drunk driving, prevention of being on social media and taking the bait for somebody who's going to prey on a child, meeting someone, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, right? So the elder fraud of making them aware that there's all these pitfalls out there. So going forward, we created, and I'll give you an example of something that we created with the chiefs of police from the county. And I know we had the chiefs here with you the one day. We created a task force that goes out, and we did it over the summer every Friday and Saturday night, and it was to prevent fatal accidents. And I'm going to give you a stat, and I purposely brought this because I wanted to show you how unbelievable collaboration is between the local police departments in our office and the sheriff's office. So fatal motor vehicle accidents in 2024, there was 56. Okay. We came together, we created this task force as a result of enforcement, like going out for 2 hours and writing 111 summonses.
Yeah.
Being present on the White Horse Pike, Black Horse Pike on Friday and Saturday night in the summer. We reduced the fatal accidents to 29, almost half.
Nice.
In 1 year. Right. So our goal is prevention, whether it's preventing a young child from meeting a predator, whether it's preventing a senior from giving their lifelong savings, or whether it's preventing someone committing a fatal accident, right, or being involved in a fatal accident. That has been, I think, the paramount, in my heart. Let's help people stop from getting hurt.
And I know you don't like to pat yourself on the back, but I know me and you have talked about it. You've gotten a ton of guns off the street, and that's a big deal.
Amen. I'm going to give you a couple incredible stats that are like mind-numbing. Okay, so go back to 2012, 30 homicides, over 90 shootings, right?
Okay. This is just Atlanta County.
Just Atlanta County, right? Fast forward to our administration. In the first several years of our administration, we were bouncing between like 12 and 16, okay, homicides. Prime example, 2022, my first year, we had 44 shootings, non-fatal shootings. Okay, 44 non-fatal shootings. This past year, after detaining the most violent criminals, the ones that will shoot someone or be shot in retaliation, we only had 4 shooting homicides. A total of 8, but only 4 shooting homicides and only 14 non-fatal shootings. And we solved every one of them. Everyone was cleared. Right. So you went from having 30 homicides to 4 shooting homicides. You went from having 44 shootings to 14 shootings, all in a span of a couple of years. Right. And that is by detaining the most dangerous criminals who are the most likely to shoot or be shot. And when you take the shooters off the street, there's less shootings.
Well, look, it looks like you're moving in the right direction.
Trying. Listen, and I'll say this, I've been blessed by an incredible leadership team in cooperation from the police departments and chiefs of police. I'm not the one doing the work. I'm simply the one making the announcements and removing obstacles for people to do their job. I just feel very fortunate because I'm born and raised here, right? This is personal.
Local boy.
This is personal. I'm raising my children here, and I want my children to raise their children here. So I wake up every day, and I literally pray for no senseless loss of life in Atlanta County. What can we do to do that?
Fighting the good fight.
Every day.
Well, look, Atlanta County Prosecutor William Reynolds, thank you. I appreciate it. I always love our chats, man.
Me too.
I'm glad we were able to do it in an expanded version.
Me too. And I really appreciate so many things we talked about. We talked about after we were done the PSA. So
I know.
Great to put it on the record.
Yeah, I feel bad because your marketing person, she's always like, I think we got to go. And I was like, oh, we'll just keep chit-chatting. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.